Please listen to the story. Is it necessary to apologize? There are things that others tell you, you can understand, but only when you experience it yourself, you can truly feel the most complete emotion. There was a family. The father was a firefighter. During a mission, he sacrificed himself for the victims. The sad incident did not stop there. When the media got involved, they reported that because the fire captain, who was also the father of that family, because of his wrong decision, he caused himself and his subordinates to die as well. Everyone was very angry at that time. The families of those subordinates went directly to his family and kept telling the two sons of the fire captain that they were the children of the murderer. The mother, unable to bear the pressure of public opinion, committed suicide. The two sons then went missing. A few years later, one of the two children cleared his father's name. The person who reported the news that year was punished according to regulations. But the sad thing is that no one in public opinion apologized for the mistakes of the past. They only cared about how the person who gave the wrong news at that time was punished. If anyone has ever watched the Korean movie Pinochino, they would know that the above story is the content of this movie. Thua Hon accidentally learned about this movie through her roommate. When she watched the part where the son cried and kept saying that his father was innocent, she burst into tears. But when she watched the part where the father was exonerated, her face did not show any emotion. Her roommate who watched with her at that time was very surprised. Why did she not feel even a little happy? Little did she know that Thua Hon had watched until she was speechless. It seemed like she could no longer remember how the movie ended. She was only immersed in her own memories. That year, she had stood up to protect a friend of hers who was being bullied. The person who bullied her friend, besides her friend, was many others. Among them was one who was bullied the most. After escaping the bullying, Thua Hon's friend immediately wanted to help that friend escape the same situation as him. Unfortunately, he did not have enough courage to do it himself. The story then spread to the mother of the friend who was bullied the most. And then the person who specialized in bullying others also knew about this. Back then, in Thua Hon's student community, the most taboo thing was to involve parents in grudges between students. Whoever did that, not only would be considered a snitch, but would also be despised for being cowardly. Too scared before the snitching incident was exposed, Thua Hon's friend took the initiative to meet the bully, and said that Thua Hon had done this. The incident was then spread throughout the class through word of mouth among the students. When Thua Hon found out, she had become the hottest female villain in class. No one believed what Thua Hon said, and then Thua Hon gradually understood who had framed her. A person was accused by his best friend, who had been a victim of bullying. If he didn't believe that best friend of Thua Hon, then who else would? Who would testify for someone who had bullied them? Thinking about it was absurd. The feeling of suddenly becoming a monster in the eyes of others was really uncomfortable. Thua Hon could feel everyone's disgust towards him as wherever he went, people avoided him like the plague. Every action of Thua Hon was scrutinized. If Thua Hon did well, everyone would say that he was fake. If he did not do well, people would say that this was his nature. Thua Hon's personality, which had always been quiet, became even quieter. She seemed to be mute, not talking to anyone and not wanting to talk to anyone. There were only a few real close friends left of Thua Hon, always trying to talk to her. They were afraid that she would be depressed, but then, everything gradually faded away over time. Everyone was not patient enough to discuss each issue when it only stopped at what everyone knew. Gradually, they began to forget, and newer, more attractive things became new topics for everyone to gossip about. As for Thua Hon, time was the medicine that helped her form antibodies. The pain was still there every time she remembered. The emotions were still intact like before. But as long as she didn't try to remember, she could still feel the aftertaste around her. Unlike at first, when she was too depressed, she became insensitive. After that, everyone gradually learned the truth. The person who made the correction was the one who was bullied the most that year. It was just different from what Thua Hon imagined, that he would receive an apology and a welcome from everyone. But no. That scene never appeared. Simply because no one wants to admit their mistakes, especially things like following the crowd like that. But today's Thua Hone, can he still be like before, sitting and hoping for the moment to clear his name? After all that, Thua Hone was no longer the Thua Hone of the past. She did not calculate the old grudges, nor did she want to calculate them anymore. She only blamed herself for trusting the wrong person, making the wrong friend, leading to the outcome like today. Later, someone asked Thua Hone why she did not clear her name at that time, but waited for someone else to do it. If so, it was right for her to suffer injustice. To the above question, she just smiled silently and refused to give an opinion. Everyone has their own answer. She personally thought that it was just her best friend's temporary fear. There would come a time when her friend would no longer be afraid, and would clear her name. She waited for a long time, but in the end, she could not wait for the day that her best friend would clarify the matter. She also had the thought of exposing that best friend, clarifying the truth. But she realized that the longer the matter was left, the colder her heart became. So what if you can do that? The injustice is resolved, but is there any way to make those injuries disappear? If so, it is better to let things go their natural course. Later, when he grew up, Thua Hone understood that kindness to someone is never enough. Give but do not expect to receive what you want in return. If you want to give something, just give it away. Expecting too much will only make you more disappointed. And receive hurt for yourself. It seems like a sad ending for a girl who used to live a good and kind life, and now doesn't want to continue doing that anymore because she's afraid of repeating her mistakes from the past. But no, the stories she experienced that year taught her many profound lessons, the most notable of which was how to look at things as intuitively as possible about public opinion on a certain issue, and she used that lesson to save the life of another close friend she later became friends with. She used her understanding of being shunned by others while she had done nothing wrong to convey sympathy, almost a bit of warmth when talking on the phone with a friend who was about to commit suicide because of discrimination against the third gender, which was considered a disease in the minds of many people many years ago. Now, she is in the process of doing a PhD in psychotherapy. Her dream is to help people heal from mental illness that no medicine can cure. The old chapter of her life has closed, and a new one is opening. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive good and meaningful stories. Thank you very much.